Hello, my name is Jody Sass, and I have been employed by Westman Communications Group for more than 25 years now. The last 4 I've served in the role of the sales manager of our business division. Traditionally, I know we have a tight timeline when it comes to this particular event, so we have prepared a short video which we'll get to in a second. Before we get to that video, I just want to take the opportunity to quickly issue a few thank yous of our own. Thank you to the Chamber for allowing Westman Communications Group to host this event annually. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out, especially those Westman business clients of ours that I've had the opportunity to speak to before the event. And lastly, I would like to thank Mr. Kinew for coming out, taking time out of his schedule to visit with us today and give us an update on the state of the province. And with that, I'll have them cut to the video, please.
Westman Business Solutions has provided high-quality services to local businesses for over 25 years. From small-town restaurants to large-scale operations, we provide the vital infrastructure to make your commercial dreams a reality. In 2025, Westman Business Solutions is reinvigorating its service offerings to provide an enhanced user experience. In April, we upgraded our internet plans to provide significantly faster speeds. This means smoother operations, quicker downloads, and a competitive edge you can count on. Plus, with our all-in-one internet and Wi-Fi solution, SmartBiz, small businesses can easily manage their public networks. It's never been a better time to utilize Connect Business Internet. Westman Business Solutions provides tailored TV programming to elevate client and customer relations. And now, it's getting an upgrade. In 2025, we're rolling out a revamped and rejuvenated TV platform designed with member feedback in mind. Thanks to this new platform, you can expect innovations in reliability, quality, and content offerings. We're excited to bring this new platform to our members across the region in the coming months. That's not all. Communication is key to any business's success, making our business voice services a cornerstone of our offerings. We're working hard behind the scenes to provide a new phone platform to provide higher quality communication for members and their clients. Stay tuned as we provide more information about our business voice enhancements later in 2025. By focusing our efforts on improving the core services that our members depend on, 2025 is shaping up to be an innovative year for Westman Business Services. Now, more than ever, is a crucial time to connect with local businesses, and we can't wait to see how our members capitalize on our upcoming enhancements. Explore how Westman Business Solutions can uplift your business today by visiting our website or calling us today.
I would like to introduce our speaker for today's luncheon, who is Premier Wab Kinew. He's the 25th Premier of Manitoba and was first elected as MLA for Fort Rouge in 2016, and then elected as the party leader and leader of the official opposition in 2017. Before becoming an MLA, Kinew worked as a broadcaster, as an administrator for the University of Winnipeg. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in economics from the U of M and a master's degree in Indigenous governance. Kinew is an honorary witness of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and a best-selling author. He is a caring dad to 3 boys and a devoted husband to his wife Lisa, who is a doctor. So if you could all please join me in giving a warm Brandon and Southwestern Manitoba welcome, Premier Wab Kinew.
Let's show our appreciation for the amazing job Lois has done as MC and with the Chamber. The one clap thing. I love it. Hopefully we're doing that tonight watching the Jets game. Every goal. Right? Let's see if we can practice. Shifley, Connor, Morrissey, Velarde. Yay, go Jets go. Yeah, Ehlers, keep them coming, right? It's great to see everybody here, and I really want to thank the Chamber for bringing us together and for the amazing work that they do each and every day. Let's show them our appreciation. By the way, to Jennifer, congratulations on being handed the gavel. The gavel's not bad. I was at this Doctors Manitoba thing last weekend, and for them, they have the chains of office. Which sounds really heavy, right? Chains of office. So, gavel, we could be doing worse. I do want to take a bit of time at the start of my remarks today on a more somber tone. I do have some good news to share, so I'll get to that in a second. But first, I do want to acknowledge that we lost two of our own as Manitobans this week due to the very tough wildfire situation that's going on. In Eastman in particular, we still have the fires near the Paw region as well. But when you see the loss of life, it moves from being an emergency to being a tragedy. And so if we could keep that community in the Lac du Bonnet area, the families and friends affected in our minds, and if you're a spiritual person, in our prayers as well, I think that goes a long way. I also want to thank the Manitoba Wildfire Service, the Office of the Fire Commissioner, and all of the firefighters from local fire who've been responding to these blazes. They're doing an amazing job. We've had mental health and emotional supports there overnight with them as part of the round-the-clock response for our first responders. So again, if we could just take a moment to show them our appreciation, and if you get a chance to pass on some well wishes to people on the front lines, please do so. So the flags at the Manitoba Legislature are flying at half-mast today, and that's our condolences to the folks in the Lac du Bonnet region. And then, yeah, as you heard Lois say, one of the interesting things about this May long weekend coming up here in Manitoba is that we have these very serious fires in the Eastman region in particular, and you've got an overland flood watch just upstream from where we are here. So we'll get through this difficult period the way that we always do, which is by working together. And of course, anything we can do to support those first responders by listening to all the watches and notices that have been going out, that's how we can help, even if we're not right in the emergency zone, if you will. So we are asking for nobody to burn any fires this weekend, even if there's no fire ban in your part of the province. Just anywhere, the firefighters are telling us, anywhere something burns out of control unexpectedly, and then we have to devote resources there and potentially pull away from the front lines, that can have an impact. And similarly, just to make sure, it's a little bit less in this part of Manitoba, but hey, people do travel on the long weekend. If you can pass on the word to obey the evacuation orders. Earlier this morning, we declared a state of emergency in the Whiteshell Provincial Park, so you got Nopalming, Whiteshell, and other areas on evacuation notice. Just pass on the good word to our neighbors and fellow Manitobans that if we can all work together and obey those kind of calls to action, that would be great. Yesterday, I had the chance to sign an agreement with the province of Ontario. My friend Doug Ford and I were talking first about having an interprovincial deal to support a Canadian hockey team to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But we hit an impasse in the negotiations when Premier Ford said he'd be willing to support the Jets if they make it to the finals. And then he looked at me and I said, "No, I'm sorry, there's no way I will cheer for the Leafs." I don't know, I'm just being silly. Never say never. The main thing is we bring the cup home to Canada, right? But on a more serious level, it was great to work with Premier Ford. We have a great relationship with Ontario, culturally, socially, business-wise, when it comes to the economy. And just to formalize that, Manitoba, we've been open for business for a long time. Very few of those trade barriers here in Manitoba. But now to put pen to paper with Ontario to say that they're going to recognize all of our work, meaning if you're a tradesperson, you're going to be able to go work in Ontario. They're going to recognize your credential. You're an engineer. You're a professional. You got a designation. You're going to be able to go work in Ontario. Same thing with us. It's just about that trust. We're going to trust that Ontario's regulations on health and safety are good enough to keep Manitobans safe, and they're going to trust that the work that we do on that same front are going to be enough for the standards necessary to build up this great country that we love so much. So we signed the MOU yesterday, and I think it's next week we'll be bringing in the legislation to enact that here in Manitoba as we continue to build up Team Canada. Oh, and I almost forgot everybody's most important part, beer. Right now in Manitoba, you can order a wine from Niagara over the internet, right, direct from your home. So as part of this deal, we're going to finalize an agreement by next month where our Manitoba businesses will be able to sell directly into Ontario as well, creating more opportunities for folks like Farmery and some of the other great businesses across Manitoba. You know, I think right now there's in addition to that, in the recent federal election, you heard the major candidates talk about building things in this province, building up our country, building up our economy. And I can tell you that we at the provincial government, as your provincial government, are working hard to make sure that whatever gets built, whether it's east-west, but you know, the thing that would actually benefit us the most in Manitoba is to go north and to try to get to Tidewater and Hudson Bay, that whatever gets built actually is going to benefit Manitoba and create jobs here, create jobs for people in the resource sector, create jobs for people who go to work in hard hats and steel toes every day, and create jobs in all the spin-off industries that go to support our natural resources. So I think over the next few weeks, you're going to hear a lot of talk about building trade corridors, and what we're working on at the province is saying, okay, great, it's long been talked about to get to Hudson Bay, Tidewater, with a road, with a rail line, with a pipe, with, you know, broadband even. Who's got the best plan? And who's got the capital to make it happen? Let's hear these ideas. Now is the window of opportunity. Now is the moment for us to get something big like that built. We're ready to do business, and let's work together to build up Canada. And by the way, it's not just a nation-building project. If you look at what's happening right now across the country, I think it's a national unity project too. Because the reality is this: if we sit around and we talk about what does the federal election mean, and we talk politics, it's going to be like the family dinner table, right? If we talk politics, there's always going to be disagreement. But if we get down to business, we roll up our sleeves and we talk about building something together, and we get to work, that's how we bring people together. Do something tangible, and I think there's a real moment to build up something great like that right now. So we're committed to doing that. But let's build up Brandon. Let's build up the Westman, right? Let's build up our ag sector. It's the backbone of our provincial economy. So first of all, I want to acknowledge the amazing work that the private sector does in this part of the province each and every day. Whether we're talking oil and gas, we're talking agriculture, we're talking manufacturing, transportation, you name it. Communications, development. There's a ton of great innovators, entrepreneurs, business people creating jobs each and every day. And so when the private sector speaks, when the community speaks, I think it's up to us in government to listen, right? And one of the messages that I've heard loud and clear from this part of the province, because they say money talks, is the Prairie Innovation Center. What is it? Is it $23 million that's been raised privately? This is a huge amount of money, right? And when you see that sort of commitment from the private sector and from community, it really does make you stop and take notice. So we know that there is a need to improve the supply of labor in the ag sector. We know that there's so many jobs that we're going to have to fill going forward into the coming years to be able to keep growing that backbone of our provincial economy. And Assiniboine College's Prairie Innovation Center is the way to get it done. State-of-the-art facility, dramatically expand the ability to train, and let's make sure that we keep putting people to work in Brandon, in communities right across Westman, in communities right across Manitoba, building up the ag sector. So you know where politicians now would typically be heading in this announcement type of lead up, right? is like, wait, okay, but it's important for us to get the federal government to the table, and then you sort of like hem and haw for several years waiting for the feds to show up with the bag, as we call it. And don't get me wrong, the feds, hey, you're more than welcome. We would love the new federal government to come to the table with investment. But the announcement that I want to make to you today is your provincial government, we're not going to wait. We're going to do the Prairie Innovation Center right now. Let's get these shovels in the ground. So today we're announcing $60 million in provincial capital funding to get these shovels in the ground right now. And because we're expecting that the feds are going to come forward very soon, we're also announcing a $60 million loan so that Assiniboine College can move ahead and that we don't have to wait for signed letters of offer, that we can just start building this important investment in our provincial economy. So there's a lot of great stuff that we can point to as part of this. As part of that investment, you got 20 million towards childcare, 40 million towards capital, and like I said, that loan to ensure that we can just move ahead. By the way, we wrote to the new federal government. We laid out our priorities. That trade corridor at the top of the list, critical minerals, investments in trucking corridors. These were all on the list, but this investment in ag alongside the GATE project that we're working on with Cereals Canada, and then the business risk management programs to support the farmers in the field. These are our asks to the federal government, extending that warm and hearty handshake. Let's work together. Let's build up Canada by making sure Western Canada is strong. How do we make sure Western Canada is strong? It's by making sure that the ag industry is strong. So yeah, state of the province, I'd say it's going pretty good. It's obviously a challenging time when you have people risking their lives to protect families, to protect property, to protect business. But we should be in awe of the amazing people who go to the front lines each and every day. Law enforcement, firefighters, paramedics, people in the healthcare system. These are true Manitoba heroes. And our government has been very, very honored to be able to work with these folks. We're working very closely with the emergency measures and Manitoba Wildfire Service on the situation with the wildfires right now. We've added new resources for law enforcement right across this great province. We've added more than 1,500 new healthcare workers to the front lines of our provincial healthcare system, including new services right here in Brandon. And Bill being here, we're listening to Melita too, and making sure that you get the new healthcare workers in the southwestern corner of our province. So we got a lot of good things going. There's been some challenging talk coming from our neighbor to the south, to say the least. But now is the time for us to work together. Work together with the other provinces and territories. Work together with trading partners in all parts of the world, including the EU and in Asia. And of course, to work together across all regions of our province. State of the province when it comes to the provincial government is this. We're fixing healthcare. We're making investments in having a more affordable cost of living and a more affordable economy. We're standing up for Western Canada. We will never be the 51st state. And with apologies to my friends Scott Moe and Danielle Smith, who are both Oilers fans, go Jets, go. So thank you so much for coming out today. Let's keep working together to build up the Westman economy. Let's keep working together to build up Manitoba.
Thank you very much, Premier Kinew, and thank you for that very exciting announcement for Assiniboine College and the Prairie Innovation Center. That's a fantastic project, and we're so excited to see it moving forward. That's really great news. So now a few questions, and our Government Relations Committee every year works together to make sure that we are asking questions of our elected representatives that really matter to the business community here in Brandon and throughout our region. So a couple around fiscal responsibility. Your government campaigned on balancing the budget by the end of your first term. Given the current economic pressures that all provinces are facing with what we have discussed in global trade wars and situations with our neighbors to the south, is this still a priority? And how would you plan to stay on track to fulfill this commitment if it is?
Yeah, it is a priority, and we are on track. So our provincial finance minister went to go see the rating agencies in Toronto and out east recently, and they're gonna give their report card on him. The first one I think comes next week, but the preliminary signs are good. Manitoba, for one, and this is nothing to do with government, this is all about you, Manitoba has a diversified economy. And you saw that in the recent employment numbers last month. Some of the other provinces are starting to feel the impact of the tariff threats. Here in Manitoba, some of the preliminary numbers are still holding our ground, which is good. And so we need to preserve what we have there. And the same way the average business owner and the average family is looking at your expenses, looking at your cost of living right now, and being responsible, your provincial government needs to be responsible too. So when we make a decision to do something like investing in the Prairie Innovation Center, it's a bit of that, risk, reward, cost, benefit thinking, which is, okay, we're in an environment right now where we need to be responsible, but at the same time, when you're dealing with the threat of tariffs to the south and then the tariffs from China, we can't be cutting and slashing. We got to be investing to keep people working. And the Prairie Innovation Center, to me, it's one of the best ways, because you're talking about investing in this core part of our economy, the ag industry, and on top of that, it's an investment in training and education. And Gary Dewar, who's been a great advisor to us, he always said the best economic plan is a good education plan.
And we agree with that. Very pleased to learn about the MOU that was signed yesterday, as you've mentioned. And we know that there's a lot of really important steps that continue to move forward in making sure that our economy remains resilient. So Budget 2025 did announce a separate contingency budget in order to provide relief for Manitobans in the event that the tariffs became a reality. Since the introduction, and then there's been significant rollbacks of tariffs, how do you feel this contingency budget is meeting the needs of citizens and businesses?
Yeah, no, it's an important question. Obviously, it's dominated the first part of the year, including the recent federal election. We're still in the main budget scenario. We haven't activated the contingency. Basically, our finance minister built two budgets. Sort of, here's the no tariff budget, and here's if the full impact of the Trump tariffs were to take effect. And so we're still in that main scenario, which is good news to the fiscal responsibility point. Within that, we have done some things like the additional $10 million for the business risk management programs in ag. And that's to reflect the fact that we do have some tariffs, right? We got the tariffs on pork, which is very relevant here. We got the tariffs on some canola products from China. And then we have a steel industry here in Manitoba, including in the Westman, and there's a tariff on steel right now going south. So we do have to have those supports in place. The good news, speaking of the economy, is that we've been able to, I think, stabilize and support for the most part. And then when we talk about that MOU with Premier Ford, again, that mutual recognition of tearing down these trade barriers, by signing that deal with Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, they come along with that right away. And we already have the New West Partnership with our Western neighbors. So I think this thing that everyone's talking about, free trade in Canada by Canada Day, I think we're going to be able to deliver.
Fantastic news. So given this current uncertainty, as we've talked about, taxes are rapidly rising. We're experiencing increases in education property taxes in our capital and many communities throughout the province. We have a shortage of doctors and professionals and other high-income earners who, across the province as well, who are already taxed at one of the highest levels. So how can we support Manitobans, particularly Manitoba business, and help them attract the professionals that we need to work in our businesses and provide care for our residents?
All the taxes that the provincial government controls are going down. So I think that's the first thing to keep in mind. I'm not going to say anything about other levels of government because I got a lot of friends here in the room. But we came into office, we cut the gas tax to zero. I still remember that I was actually here on 18th Street and Highway 1 when I saw the 99-cent gas on the sign there, January 1st, 2024. That was awesome. I wish we could have kept it that way forever. But what we did do is a 10% permanent cut to the gas tax here in Manitoba. We cut income taxes our first year coming into government. We brought in the $1,500 education property tax credit, homeowner affordability tax credit. That's going up to $1,600 a year next year. We cut the payroll tax this year. I see the Business Council, Bram is here today. So again, we cut the payroll tax, and we've offered a tax deferral on the retail sales tax and on corporate income taxes for businesses that, or the payroll tax rather, for businesses that are facing a threat of tariffs. So you go across the board, all the taxes that the provincial government controls are being reduced. We're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep saving you money.
Thank you. In the past, our government has lagged behind our neighbors sometimes in providing support and access for our businesses to access the global markets across the world. So with evolving international trade landscapes, what can our business community expect from the Manitoba government in terms of assistance in cultivating and accessing worldwide markets?
Yeah, I think this is crucial right now. We've got to, geography is never going to change. America is always going to be our neighbor and most important trading partner. But at the same time, I don't think anyone wants to be as vulnerable as we felt earlier this year when President Trump started to talk about tariffs. And so we have to look abroad. We've got to look to Asia. We've got to look to the European Union. We have to look to other countries like Brazil and India. And so the provincial government, we're working hard on all fronts, I would say. We're reestablishing a permanent presence in Washington, D.C. Hopefully we'll be able to announce the person there very soon. And that's just about making sure that when you show up in America, when you show up to lobby on Capitol Hill for your industry, if it's someone like CAP, or maybe for your specific business, as if it's many of the folks here in the room, you're going to get that support from your provincial government. We hosted the ambassadors of the European Union just a few weeks ago. Tons of interest, particularly in agriculture and in energy. So if we can get that northern port going, moving a ship from Churchill or Port Nelson to Germany or Belgium is shorter than going from the eastern ports due to the curvature of the earth. And so, yeah, we've got a lot of opportunities to build on. I was recently in South Korea, and we're talking to some firms there. So we just got to build when it comes to these trade relationships and make sure that the business owners who create opportunities here can access those additional markets.
Thank you, very important. We have many businesses who are producing amazing products that they want to make sure they can get to markets around the world, and certainly having a provincial partner in that is important. Can you provide us with some updates on major infrastructure projects planned for our region? We know the K-8 school is moving through the rezoning process now with our municipal government. And do you have any more information you could share on completion timelines for the 2 new schools that have been announced?
Yeah, the English school, so Brandon School Division, should be open for 2027 school year, 27-28, I guess that means. And then the French, so the DSFM school here in Brandon should be open, I believe it's 2 school years after that. So that's moving ahead. We've got major work going into Highway 1, pretty close by here. Closer to Minnedosa, we got a lot of investments going into Highway 16. There's a ton of provincial road and highway projects that we're doing in the region. So there's a ton of money that we're spending in infrastructure. Part of the path to balance that we worked out, meaning like how do we deliver a balanced budget in 2027, included the long-term capital plan. And what we plan to do this year, $3.7 billion in infrastructure. So that's schools, that's hospitals, that's highways, that's bridges. And it's basically When we're threatened by tariffs from the south, how do we respond? Put people to work building up these projects across Manitoba.
So building on that, Budget 25 was a build budget, and as we know, many trades are experiencing skilled labor shortages, and it is a struggle to make sure that we have properly trained individuals. How does the provincial government plan to help address these shortages so we can continue to grow to meet our needs and can continue to build?
Well, I think the Prairie Innovation Center is a pretty crucial piece of it, right? Like, it's going to more than double the ability of Assiniboine College to produce great workers for the ag industry. And the crucial piece here is, like, yes, we're investing your tax dollars in this important piece of the economy building future for the Westman and for Manitoba. But the private sector, the ag industry, has already spoken. The fact that folks have put their own money on the table to the tune of $23 million tells you that this is a really in-demand project. And so we're just coming to the table, matching that commitment and saying, all right, we're all in. Now that the private sector's there, the province is there, again, we're not gonna wait for the feds, but we're gonna keep working on them and make sure that they come to the table and help build up Brandon and the Westman region as well too.
Perfect, and let's hope we can train more carpenters and electricians and all those folks as well, because they're very crucial to that build budget. Looking to post-secondary education now. Somewhat surprising to Westman, there wasn't mention of the Rady School of Medicine expanding to Brandon, and we were certainly, that's a project that we're very excited about, and we would love to be able to have doctors trained here in Brandon and focus on having them stay in our region to provide healthcare and to contribute to the healthcare system. So with the doctor shortage continuing, can you provide us on an update on what that might mean for future plans for a School of Medicine seats here in Brandon where we can train and retain doctors throughout the region?
The money's in the budget, it's there. And one of the things about putting a budget together is you don't announce everything on budget day. Mayor Siemens is here from Winkler. I got a tough question on Golden West Radio. Where's the money for the Pembina Valley Water Co-op? We were hoping to hold it back and do a press release and an announcement about it, but there's $2.5 million there for the Pembina Valley Water Co-op as a down payment for the next phase of that project. Similarly with this, the money's in the budget to do this. The way it's moving forward is it's basically a transitionary process for people who are in the upper years of their medical training, and we're going to get it done. So far, since coming into office, we've brought about 130 more physicians to the front lines here in Manitoba. That's about 25% of where we want to get in this first term in government. Hopefully we can get future terms after that. But training people here in Brandon is going to be a crucial part of that.
Well, we look forward to that announcement. That's a really important addition to our community. In the interest of time, we know that you have to get across our entire province later on today. So I wanted to thank you very much for coming and joining us. We know that you had a lot of competing pressures today, so we really appreciate you making the effort. We did just pass Manitoba Day on the 12th of May. Can you share with us what is, in the last couple of weeks, what's your most Manitoba moment that just made you really be proud of our province and the people who live here?
Well, overnight, I was just in awe of the people who work with us each and every day. It was probably around 10 p.m. last night where we got the update that, Woodridge, community of about 300 people in southeastern Manitoba needed to be evacuated. And you had local fire, local councillors, provincial employees going door to door, saying it's time to go. Sorry, we gotta move because of this fire. So to have people doing that in the dark of night, second call comes in a short time later saying, you know what, the municipal leaders are flagging, because a lot of municipal folks here today, they'll know that usually it's the first 72 hours is municipal and then the province steps in after that. This RM was saying they wouldn't be able to meet the sudden influx, so all of a sudden the Department of Families is activated and they're responding and leading as a provincial response within the first 72 hours. And this is all happening at the same time that the Oilers game is going on. Like, that's amazing to me. Like, the professionalism, not because they're missing hockey, but I mean, like, it's just like, I'm trying to situate the time of day, right? Like, people are stepping up in late hours, working through the middle of the night, just to keep other Manitobans safe. And that type of thing happens each and every day. I see the Brandon Police Service Chief and others here in the room, fire, paramedics, Canadian Armed Forces. These are the folks who run towards danger when the rest of us are, maybe moving away. And so we've always got to be grateful for that. Thank you so much. And if I could say one more quick thing, I was at the Game 7 when Cole Perfetti scored with 1.6 seconds left, and I will never, ever forget that as a true Manitoba moment as well, too. That was awesome.
That's right, and we have some folks in the room. I know Compass Credit Union is here with their Jets gear. So go Jets, go. We know when the teams come back to the heart of the continent tonight that they will be we'll be cheering them on from all across the province. We'll be fighting fires with one hand and cheering on the Jets with the other, right? Because that's just who we are. Thank you so much. Thank you, Premier Kinew, for your time. We really do appreciate it. Thank you to all of you for coming and attending today and participating in this important event. I'd like to thank our luncheon sponsor, Westman Communications Group and Business Solutions, our booth sponsors, Westman Immigrant Services, St. John Ambulance, Ducks Unlimited, Mood Disorders Association of Manitoba, Prairie Mountain Region, Patterson's LLP, and the Chamber's Plan through SV Benefits. Thank you to the Keystone Center for the meal today, and thank you to Trident for always making sure that we sound and look great. And with that, I want to remind the executive and sponsors to come and get a photo with the Premier and then the Grow Brandon Steering Committee. We're going to move quickly through this process so Premier Kinew can get back on the road and head over to Eastern Manitoba and provide his support and good wishes there. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thanks to the Brandon Chamber, and let's put our hands together for Lois for your time as president. It's been great to work together.
Thank you.